Jai Guru Datta. Now it is time for us to recite the Sankalpam for this morning's Chandi Homa. Few words about Chandi Homa. In fact, 2 sentences. Chandi. The meaning of Chandi is enormous, ferocious power. That is what Chandi is. It derives from the word Chadi Adhik obey, not normal anger, fierce anger. Why is that much power? Why should you invoke that much power? When your tasks are enormous, you need enormous power to tackle that. Otherwise, normal power wouldn't suffice. Therefore, Chandi Homa is performed to take care of such contingencies, emergencies, calamities. If performed at a larger scale, higher scale, we have seen personally, we had the experience of countering great calamities and how they could be warded off and the impact could be lessened. Many of us had that personal experience. It is customary for Pujya Kadampa Sachidananda Swamiji to perform this during Navaratri celebrations. It is even performed on a larger scale. This Chandi Homa is also called as Chandika Homa. There is a suffix called ka, Swartheka. It does not have any additional meaning. It is also called as Durga Saptashati Homa. What is Durga? The power which can be attained with lots of effort and difficulty is called as Durga. Dukhena Gantavya Durga. It is not very easy to attain that power of Durga. In essence, the word Chandi as well as Durga, they all connote to one indomitable spirit, enormous, fierce power, which can be tackled or which can be appeased only with pure devotion. So, who had that sort of devotion? That's the next question. This Chandi Saptashati has its name Devi Mahatmya, the significant phenomenon of Devi. What is the name given by the Rishis? Sapta is 7, Shati is 100. A group of 700 hymns are called as Saptashati. That's for the convenience of devotees. In fact, the original name is Devi Mahatmya. This is found its reference in Markandeya Purana. That's a storyline of a lost emperor by the name Suratha, who loses everything by the cheaters among his cabinet members and household members. He came across another person, a trader by the name Samadhi. He was aimlessly wandering in a forest where there was an encounter between the two. Why are you lost? The king poses, and similarly, he expects a result and expects an answer which would actually surprise both of them. The question was, if your householders, if your family members, and if your friends were such a tormentors, why are they bothered about them? This is a very common question. Most of our apprehensions and most of our afflictions move around the people who torment us. Swamiji always says, think about the well-wishers and your benefactors, which we hardly do. We always think about our adversaries and our tormentors more and more. That is one issue. Then both of them have concluded that they need some spiritual higher guidance. Though they were not very far from the ashrama of a sage called Sumedha, they had been discussing this, but at that point they have decided that, okay, let us approach sage Sumedha who could guide us. The fundamentals of the Chandi Saptashati and Devi Mahatmya are very simple and very clear. In Mimamsa Shastra, one of the important scriptures to understand the Vedic interpretations, there is one important dictum. Unless you are commanded by a line, you will not be motivated. You have to be commanded. I will tell you, I will narrate a story for 1.5 hours and finally I will say, please get up. The line, get up, will make an impact on your body and mind. Till then you will be just listening to the stories, you may enjoy it. It may give you some little pleasure. But the command alone works. That is the nature of the Shabda Shastra. Language is not a bad. I am talking about the phenomenon of the Shabda, the sound which commands you would always make an impact. There were many discussions between the Sumedha, Suratha and Samadhi. And he said, is it not fair that the mortals who are considered as one of the wisest among all the species, why are they afflicted by this delusion? They know that it is not permanent, it is superficial, it is only a guise, but still we are all bedeviled by that guise. Why is this happening? That was the question. For that, the Rishi has smiled and replied, Jnanavasti samastasya jantor vishaja gochare, vishayascha mahabhaga, yanti chaivam prathak prathak. Don't think that you are super genius and you are superfluous and you know everything and you are very powerful. Your perception and your wisdom is alike any other species. Vishayascha mahabhaga yanti chaivam prathak prathak. But your topics and your subjects are different and their subjects are different. Every species knows how to survive, how to consume food, how to reproduce, and how to make itself a little comfort. The sophistication the humans have, they have had inherited, that is actually making their life more and more complicated. That is the only thing. Other than this, and he shows the example of a mother. The mother bird, which was very, very hungry, but to take the first effort to feed its small birdies. First it's spaghetti. Then he says, so this is how the power of Maya and Moha they work. Balavan Indriya Gramaha Vidvamsa Upakarshati. This is another Upakarshati dictum. The Indriya Grama is the group of our sensory powers are very powerful, so that they will just attract even more most of the distinguished scholars. Therefore, it is not uncommon for the humans to fall prey to that great power, which is called the Mahamaya. Mahamaya. After giving a concept, you need proof of concept. What is the proof? And what are the instances that are impacting? And were there any instances to buttress your point? Further, he has narrated 3 examples in stories. The first story is called as Prathama Charitra. The second one is called as Madhyama Charitra, the middle history. The final one is Uttama Charitra, the last one. The first one concerns with the creation when Brahma himself was attacked. He was attacked by 2 demons called Madhu and Kaitapha. As said earlier, the enemies are not external actually. Most of our vices, most of our weaknesses form the trio or dual market of our enemies. First, if we are able to overcome our own weaknesses, then we will be successful. What is the origination, genesis of these 2, Madhu and Kaitapha? You all know that Brahma is the creator and Brahma's father is none other than Lord Vishnu. So the creator's creator also had two negative forces which were called as Madhu and Kaitava. Vishnu Karna Bhavod Bhotau. Poetically it is said that the wax, the glue wax in the ears, that was the genesis of Madhu and Kaitava. Can you correlate that? We hear many things, many negative things. They all stay somewhere here. And those are the things that negatively impact our thought process. Therefore, the philosophical meaning of Chandi Saptashati has wonderful lessons both in our lives, in our management of our environment, our work environment, home, etc. So, Madhukaitava is something. So, at that time, Vishnu was in the Yoga Maya or Yoga Nidra. When you are in your deep slumber, still you let the negativity has come across your mind, across your ears, and you give little credence to this, then what would happen? If you are in slumber, that would negatively impact your thought process, and that is the resultant calamities that we come across. Then what should be done? The negativity which is unleashed, if that is forbidden, then your task will become easier. That's what Brahma has done. Tvam swaha, tvam swaha, tvam hi, vashatkara swaratmika, sudhatma akshare vidye, tritha matratmika sthita. Wonderful descriptions of the various traits of the deity are given in that Brahmakrita Stotra, Vishweshwari, Jagadhatri, Sthita Samharakarini, Vidram Bhagavati Vishnoho, Atulam Tejasa Prabhu. Since this lecture is not the main event for this time, I don't take much time about the essence and the importance of these prayers. And the second chapter, then finally the unleashed Maya, that is actually withdrawn. Then Vishnu has regained his consciousness and he has conquered. And actually the conversation is also very funny but very well meant. These demons, they say, after 5,000 years of fight, they say, okay, now we are pleased, they tell Vishnu, Lord Vishnu, we are pleased by your valor, now you can seek the boons. Vishnu was very quick in his retort. Wow, is that case? In that case, I want you both you to be slain. You have to be slain. Then they were actually in a tricky position. They had given a work. They should have, now that they should perish. And they say, okay, they give a counter position. Okay, I see water everywhere. And wherever there is no water there, that is the place where you can annihilate us. They counter. And Vishnu means to expand. Limitless expansion is the meaning of Vishnu. And he has expanded his Jaganadesha and Urudesha, the thighs. And there they were finished. It has many philosophical meanings. So the first one is called as the Tamasi Shakti, which was withdrawn. Therefore, we are praying to Mahakali for our benefit. Please withdraw your Tamasic power so that we can gain our consciousness. See, ultimately, your success, your victory comes through your actions and through your efforts only. You don't expect Guru or deity to come here. They don't assume any other position. It's your effort which is yielding the result. For that, your mind has to be conscious and it has to act better. That is the only way we can counter our adversities. So that is the lesson from the Prathama Charitra. The second one is Mahishasura Vadha. One single demon could threaten the entire race of the celestial deities. Then they had a difficult choice. They had sought the blessings of Brahma, Vishnu and Maheshwara. And they have united their creative, protective and destructive powers to conquer Mahishasura. That is the second part. And the third part is the Madhu Kaitava, the duo of demons who had been threatening once upon all these things. This Madhyama Charitra contains a beautiful prayer called Shakra Stuti. Shakra is Indra, and Indra and other deities had performed this Stuti. That is not Shakra Stuti, that is second of the precious hymns in this so Devi Mahatmya. The third one is called this Madhyama Charitra consists of 3 chapters. Prathama Charitra consists of 1 chapter. The rest of the 9 chapters are in the Uttama Charitra final part, where the annihilation of Shubha and Nishubha are described. And the 5th chapter is called as Devya Bhuta Samvada. There also we have got very good messages for our lives. Namo Devji, Mahadevji, Shivani, Satatana. These prayers find place in the 5th chapter. The 6th one is called Dhomra Lochanamatha. One of the chieftains and the captains of the enemy army, they are one by one obliterated. Thereafter the 7th one is called as Chanda Munda Vadha. In that there is a definition of the word Chamundi. Yasmat Chandancha Mundancha Gruhitva Pamuparata Chamunde Toroke Khyata Devi Bhavishyasi. For the residents of Mysore or those who revere Mysore, for the Chamundi Kshatra, you should know the meaning. For which reason you have killed both Chanda and Munda, you will be known as a Chamundi. The meaning of Chamunda has 2 aspects. Chamu means the army. Chamu Lati Dati Chamunda. One who reigns the army is called Chamundi. That is in the battle sense. And in the philosophical sense, the Chamu is our sensory organs which are unleashed all the time. They look for some prey. They always look to have some sort of enjoyment. One who withdraws those sensory powers is called as Chamundi. That is how she helps us philosophically. And the next one is called the Rakta Bija Vadha. Rakta or Raga means the desire, the endless desire. One desire leads to another. Fulfillment of one desire leads to another. So this is a chain. That is the meaning of Rakta Bija. And Devi, she withdraws the first Rakta Bija and she just consumes whatever comes out of the fulfillment. So nothing is left. If there is no remainder, then you will be free of desires, therefore you will be happy. That is the message of Rakta Bija Vadha, 8th chapter. Finally, the 9th chapter is called Nishubha Vadha, before the ultimate episode of Shubha Vadha, that is the 10th chapter. After killing all the demons, Shubha is left alone. Then he poses one question. Anyasa Paramashritya Yudhyase Yati Manini. Oh goddess Devi, do you think you are very great? This was never your power. Anyasa Paramashritya, you were dependent on other powers to emerge victorious. Don't you think it is a shame on your part? Then Devi has beautifully replied. Pasyaita Drashta Vaidhyeva Vishantyo Bhadvibhotajaha Dvitijaka Mama Para. Do you find any other force other than me? There is nothing, a power which is different than me. Pasyaita Dushta, oh wicked, just see. All of them are my several manifestations. So I am not different from all these things. And they are merging with my identity. Vishantyaha Bhadvibhotajaha. Even at the peak of the battle, Devi has given one Upadesha to that Rakshasa. That is how the God always blesses us. And the 11th chapter is called as Sarpa Narayani Stuti. In that we have several mantras, including the Sarpa Mangala Mangalge, Shive Sarvartha Sadhike, Sharanye Triyambake Devi, Narayani Namostute. And several such wonderful prayers are found in the 11th chapter, which is called Sarva Narayani Stuti. And the 12th one is called Bhagavati Vakyam. In that series, we also come across the future incarnations of the Devi, such as Brahmani, Durga, Shakambhari. These names are very well explained. And in the 12th chapter, we have the Parashwati. Bhagavati Vakyam means the series of consequences or sequences where a devotee can seek the blessings of Mother Goddess to overcome all the difficulties. And 13th chapter is called Swaratha Vaishyayoha Varapradanam. They both, the king and the trader, both were blessed. That blessing chapter is called Swaratha Vaishyayoha Varapradanam. And the king Swaratha wanted a kingdom which is undefeated. But in return, Mother Goddess has even given an additional boon. You will become the next Manu, and you will be known as Vaivasvata. Vivasvan is another synonym of Surya. So with this mortal body, you will not be able to get that position. So in your next assignment, in your sojourn, you will be born from the effulgence, brightness of Surya himself. Then you will have a celestial body. With that body, you will be able to rule the universe. There, you will be known as Vaivasvata Manu. Now we all extol the Sankalpa Vaivasvata Manvantare Kariyuge. This Manvantara is named after Vaivasvata. So this is the history of Vaivasvata Manu, who was Swaratha in his earlier birth. Therefore, by seeking the grace of Mother Goddess, we should always aim at a very high position, and we should believe with conviction that yes, it's going to happen. We will certainly be successful. And we have two important lines. Since they had left everything behind, this king and the trader have, though they were very well to do, they had nothing on their hand or body to offer. Niraharu yataharo tanmanastau tadojasau. For 3 years, they had eaten nothing, and they were resting, and they were praying and doing penance on the sand mounds of a river, so that they could not move this way or that way. They were in between, in the middle of a river on a sand mound, and they conducted. When they found nothing will be offered to the deity, Nijagatras Rukshitau, they used to offer their bread and flesh also in their devotion. Such an intense devotee would certainly get his due. That is another message from the Saptashati. Chandi Saptashati is widely regarded as one of the most important services, avenues of service to Mother Goddess. Therefore, Pujya Swamiji wishes that this nation, this society, and these devotees deserve such prayers and the grace of Mother Goddess. With this to say, we are commencing the Chandi Homa. Bolo Durga Mata Ki, Chandi Mata Ki.